Everyone, from me, Brent Graham. It's the Handicap Rugby Chat that matters. That means it's Thursday night, 9 o'clock. Lots of rugby to talk about this weekend. Perhaps not as many games as last weekend, but certainly plenty that we can get our teeth sunk into from a betting angle. We've got Super Rugby Unlocked, Bledisloe Cup, Mitre Cup, and we'll touch on the European games as well. Dave's not on the show tonight, but he has sent me through a bet on WhatsApp, so I'll go and look that up. But let me introduce you to the guests first and foremost, and I'm going to start off at my top right. Henrik Swart, he's down there in the fairest Cape. Henrik, good to have you back on the show.
How's it, Brent? Yeah, nice to be back. The Bulls let us down last week, so I'm hoping to bounce back a bit. Let's see what this week's holds in for us. Aussies were quite impressive last week. Always expect the All Blacks to bounce back. But we'll touch on that just now.
Excellent. I thought Peter Paul said hi, guys, but I see he said hi, girls there. He must have been watching last week's show because we got some interesting comments under last week's show. It seemed to got spammed by some other porn sites and that sort of stuff. I thought maybe it had something to do with the man at the bottom of the screen, Oracle Rugby. Oracle, great to have you back. It was a bit of a tough weekend last one, and I noticed you're a little bit late out with your videos this week. Nothing to do with last week's betting woes.
No, it's all about the tennis. I played tennis on Thursday, and I didn't play last week. And I got home a bit late. My wife calls it a drinking club. So it's a set of tennis and a few beers afterwards. But it became a 3-hour session. So last week was horrible actually, Brent. I think the Bulls let everybody down. I got a bit caught on that New Zealand game. I did watch it, and I must say Australia started very well. And I looked at that and I thought, geez, have I got this wrong? And then when the All Blacks broke out for that first try, the idiot went and didn't put the ball down properly. I don't understand that. There were, I think, 3 or 4 of them with no defence. All he's got to do is put the ball on the ground. He couldn't get that right. And then I noticed everybody was moaning about the Oak's foot in touch. Interestingly, I looked at it as well. You just got one back anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I was impressed with Australia. I did switch off towards the end. I didn't watch the last 10 or so minutes. I caught it up on watching it a bit later. I was very impressed with Australia. I couldn't put my finger on what was wrong with New Zealand. I don't really know, but I was very surprised. I expected Australia to be poor. I was surprised they even got 10 points. I was very surprised New Zealand didn't go across 20 points. They just looked at patches. They looked very good. I also read the Lions game wrong. Got that one wrong. I went for the Sharks. Started off on a house of fire, 13-0 up, and I was suggesting to people you could probably take a bit of minus 12 or minus 13, and I said plus 18 I'd be a Lions punter. I don't think it got up there. I think the Sharks went asleep, and the Cheetahs, geez, how was that game? It looked like they were going to win by 50. And then it ended up being one above the 21 for all the guys on 21. Some guys who were on 22 ended up losing on that game. You would never, ever have thought you'd lose on that match. But it was a loss. Sorry, carry on.
No, carry on, Gav. Carry on. Sorry, I
was just going to say, yes, I lost, but I got to say I was very excited that rugby was back. I know that there's other rugby on, but I'm not really interested in the rest of the world rugby. I've always been a South African rugby watcher and punter. So I was very excited they were back. I watched all the games, loved it, and looking forward to this weekend as well.
Well, we'll do some Super Rugby Unlocked here. Just to let you know, unfortunately, from a betting perspective, we missed our best bet. We were going for 5 in a row. Northland, unfortunately, letting us down. It was about 2 o'clock Sunday morning, so not many of us were up to watch that one, I can tell you. The bet that saved me on the weekend was I went Cheetahs over 40.5 points. And I thought, hopefully this can come in. And I couldn't believe it landed before half-time. I also had a bit of Pumas over 17.5 and over 60.5 total. So that bet effectively saved me. It ended up breaking me square because overall it wasn't a great weekend for me. I had more losers than I had winners. And those of you who've been following my cycling tips on the Giro, well, thank goodness I bet small on cycling. I'm absolutely leaking from everywhere. It's been an absolute nightmare. So I'm really going to focus on the rugby now. Just to welcome all the guys in the live chat. We've already said hello to Peter Paul. Here's Hein Dumont. He hasn't watched for a month, and Brent still hasn't cut his hair. Yes, I have, Hein. I have cut my hair. I'm just such a healthy bugger. My hair grows back so quickly, so you wouldn't know that. But look forward to the guys in the live chat making their comments. But let's get on to the rugged chaps. And Henrik, I'll start with you. The Cheetahs up against the Bulls. This game, I actually priced this one up -5.5 Cheetahs based on their performance last week when I did my handicap on Sunday. But the game has pretty much stayed more or less where it opened. It's opened very much a choice game. I see here on Sunday at the moment, we've actually got the Cheetahs slight favourites at -1.5 points. That's at 19-20, and the Bulls a bit short at +1.5. So effectively a choice game. Which way are you leaning?
Brent, this is an interesting one. I lined the Cheetahs up as well as favourites here, and on Sunday I thought this is going to be my big strike on the Super Rugby Unlocked. The Bulls team that they announced, they've made some very good changes. They were very poor against the Griquas. I expected them to put the Griquas away. I expected much better from Jake White. I was disappointed. But yeah, I like the changes they've made. Clinton Swart at 12, Papier at 9, and the hooker as well. But the Cheetahs, they were really impressive. And in Bloom at home, they're going to be tough. I think this is going to be a tight one. Having initially fancied the Cheetahs to beat the Bulls easily here. But undecided, I'm still leaning Cheetahs. I just think they've got something to prove because they've been picked out of the Super Rugby, and the way they played against Pumas, I think they should win this game, but I'm not as confident as like I said, I was lining this up as a bigger bet, and yeah, I'm not that confident anymore, but my call is just to beat the handicap, well, to win the game, basically the first game. And I think, Brent, what do you think the total points line will be? Because I've got a bit of fancy. What do you think it will be? At 50?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, this one, because you got the Bulls game, which didn't live up to expectations really from a points point of view last time. And then of course you got the Cheetahs game, which absolutely went crazy. I can't see the quote being any lower than 58.60 here, Henrik. I think it's going to be quite a high quote. I suspect we're going to get a quote in the high 50s. I'll say 58.5. That's where I reckon the bookie's going to come out. What do you think?
I thought it would be about 55.5. And I think there might be a bit of points in this one. I think both teams will play positively. I think the Bulls, I expected better from them on attack last week, and I think they will be better. And the way the Cheetahs play in Bloemfontein is always points. I can see this game having more than 60 points. So I hope you're wrong, and I hope we get it more mid-50s than late 50s. And yeah, I think the points might be the better play here. But yeah, on the handicap, I like the Cheetahs to win the game.
Cheetahs to win the game. Well, welcome to Fire Rat. I don't recall Fire Rat commenting on the show before. He says unders on the Bulls game. He reckons it's going to be a bit of aerial ping pong there. It could well be true. I'm going to bring Gavin in now, but Henry, just a quick comment from you. I've just pulled up the outright betting. Now, the news, of course, breaking today, where it hasn't been the best kept secret in the world, that South Africa are not going to the Rugby Championships. And I know lots of guys, some of our guys on the forum were actually on the Cheetahs from 20-1 last week, as I recall. There's still 9-1 available on the Cheetahs. Perhaps more if you shop around. I don't know. The fact that the Springboks are staying, it's obviously a bad thing for Cheetahs backers. Who do you think is the outright value to win this tournament at the moment?
Yeah, Brent, I'm one of those 20-1 Cheetah punters. I didn't put a lot on at that price. You don't have to put a lot on. And one of my my points that I put up for backing the Cheetahs was that the Boks will miss most of this tournament. But yeah, no, they're not going. The 9-1 on WSB that you brought up. Now on Bet Exchange, the Cheetahs they're 12-1. But the Stormers on the exchange, I think on WSB, which you put out now, they're 16-10. I think the Stormers might be a team to beat here. I expect if you look at their team, they've got a big chunk of the World Cup blocks there, especially the forwards, and then that front row of the Stormers. In my opinion, Steven Kitsoff and Frans Malherbe and even Bongi, that's the best front row in the world. I don't expect anyone to beat that scrum, and they should win a lot of penalties for their team. So I think the Stormers should be the team to beat here. And at 2-1 with Bet Exchange, that's my call. Even them being the favourites, it's probably not a lot of value that, but I can't see anybody beating them if the Boks stay in the tournament.
Right, 2-1. The Stormers there, says Henrik Swat. And I can tell you why Hein Dumont is watching the show, Couch Critic. He's trying to tempt Gavin Cohen into a bet because he's won a couple of hundred off me in the Giro in midweek, so he's flying with confidence. And Gavin, let's hear your opinions on the game, but no doubt you're going to get roped into a bet against Couch Critic at some point.
Yeah, I'm happy to lay him that, actually. So this game it's an interesting. I just want to tell you something I noticed, and I actually can't remember seeing this before. This is how bizarre that Cheetahs game was last week. One of the guys had taken minus 25.5 halftime handicap on the.
It was Ruan. Ruan took it. Yes.
Yeah. He took the minus 25.5. He wins that. And the final result would have lost. That's very interesting. I don't think I've seen that for a while. I know he took the bet in running, obviously, so they would have been 10-0 up or 12-0 up or whatever the number was. But that was bizarre when I saw that. I thought, geez, you're going to win this easily. And then you see the final result coming at 22. I was still blown away by that. But I didn't read anything into the second half of the Cheetahs. I think they'd won the game comfortably. They were never in any trouble. I'm really worried about the Bulls. I got to tell you, if the Bulls had beaten the handicap last week, I would have been all over the Bulls this week. But this is the smallest of my bets this weekend, and I'm definitely on the Cheetahs. So Han, you shout the number, and you can have it. Tino bets on the draw. You got the Bulls. I got the Cheetahs. I'm happy to lay that to you. I think the Bulls. I don't know what's going on in that change room. I don't know if Jake White's got it or he doesn't have it, but they were hell of a poor last week. They were headless chickens. I don't know what they were doing. I need to see a little bit more performance out of them to start putting any money on them. Right, towards the outright. So I had a few chats with some guys this week. Some sites had Bulls at 16-10 and 18-10 and 2-1. And I suggested that the Stormers should probably be favourite for this tournament. That was without knowing about the Springboks. I stand by that anyway, but I do believe that any team priced at under 2-1 right now is not value. It's too short. And at the same time, I've got to believe that out of the 5 teams that can win this, I think that anything over 6-1 is probably a bit of value as well. So the likes of the Cheetahs, even at 9-1 at the moment, and as Henrik said, there's a bit of 12-1 around if you're still looking for it. I think there's value there. And I've got to tell you, after watching the Lions last week, they didn't give up. There's nothing to be worried about taking a bit of 10-1 there as well. I don't know I need to understand one thing though. Is this tournament over at the end of the first session of games? So when each team's played 6 matches, is that the end of this?
Correct.
Okay.
That's the end.
Yeah. All right. So
the points get carried over to the Currie Cup.
Yeah. Okay. So then there'll be new outright betting at that point.
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
For me,
I can confirm a bet for you there. 200 Rand from Couch. He reckons even 200 on the game. You must know that you owe me money because I owe him money because he says he's betting with my 200 on that game. So we'll see how it goes. I can see some book entries taking place next week. That's for sure.
No problem. I'm a master at cross settling, so there's no issue there. I fully understand it. I went to university, studied it. I know all about it. Right, so let's go. Yeah, Cheetahs for me, there's definitely value. I can't believe the money's coming for the Bulls. I don't know what money that is. It's definitely not mine. And if Hein's betting 200 Rand on this game, it's obviously not his either. So I have no idea whose money that is. For me, it's Cheetahs, but it is a tentative one. But yeah, I just you guys are talking about 60 odd points here. This could be 40-20 to the Cheetahs. I'll watch a bit and I might have a second go during the game, but I can't touch the Bulls this week. Not after last week. They were rubbish last week.
Right. Well, if ever you want an indecisive guy, it's Hein Dumont. He says Cheetahs are huge value this week if they win for the tournament, but they're gone if they lose. So I'm not too sure if he's saying they are huge value if they're not, because it all depends if they win. But I guess Hein is on the Bulls, so he doesn't think they're such great value. Gav, let's stay with you, though. We'll go to the Saturday game, 4:30 kickoff. It's in Kimberley. It's Griquas up against the Pumas. And here we have the handicap, minus 11.5 Griquas. I think I priced this one at 12.5. So nothing obvious jumping out for me here, Gav. What do you think of this one?
That's all about the Bulls. The Griquas for me were average. they had a good start, a lucky bounce here and there. They had a great start. I mean, they were 10-0 up. It was fantastic. I think the double-digit start here seems a little bit crazy. It feels too high. I won't go as far as saying that I'm going to be punting the Pumas to win the game on the board, but I'll certainly be interested in a bit of plus. I'd probably thinking about it, I suppose I'm at the same level as the Cheetahs. Pumas plus for me. I did watch the. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but Stonehouse, Mr. Jimmy Stonehouse, the coach of the Pumas, he looks like he's aged about 12 years in the last 3 years since we saw him on local TV. I don't know where he's been. I think he went to Japan. I'm not 100% sure, but he looks like he's aged. It looks like it's a different Ike. He didn't have they didn't have too much influence on the game. They were average. They had a great second half, but for me, it was all Cheetahs just taking their foot off the pedal. So this is every year there's a fixture that these bottom teams target, and this is the game they're targeting. The Crickets have probably got aspirations of winning games at home. I don't think they'll beat any of the big five. But yeah, for me, this is a game the Pumas can win, and I think it'll be a little bit closer. Probably one score try, if anything, plus a little bit of value for me, nothing big.
Right, a small plus there for Gavin Hine. Dumont saying Pumas have huge changes, and he's on the Griquas, and I'm with you there, Couch. I was quite impressed with the Griquas last week. I agree the Bulls weren't great, but at the end of the day, I thought the Griquas did the business. And by contrast, I thought the Pumas were absolutely terrible against the Cheetahs until the Cheetahs got so far ahead that they stepped off the gas. So for me, I actually make the Griquas a fair call. I haven't really decided if I'll go, how big I'll go on this one, but I will be doing the good for the game preview on this one. We'll be tipping the Griquas minus, and that takes us into Henrik. Let's see if Henrik can separate us.
Now, Brent, again for me, a tough one here, and it's probably I had a poor weekend last week. Betting
we all did, Henrik. Don't worry.
So that influences me. So my confidence is a bit low. So I'm a bit tentative here as well. But I'm with Gavin on the Pumas here. The Griquas, they were really impressive, but it was also for me the Bulls, they were poor, and the way the Bulls played was poor. I expected them to play tactically better. The Griquas, I see there's been a bit of money for them. I think they opened about 9 or 10, and it's up to 11 now. Just the two bottom teams or the two minor teams, I just feel this handicap is just a bit too big. The Griquas should be happy with a win here. I'm smallish, but like we said, somebody said on the chat, there will be points in this one, and I agree with them. It will be 35 degrees in Kimberley on Saturday. It's a 4:30 kickoff. The conditions should be perfect for points here. I expect a few points here. So the quote will probably also be about 60.5. But I see both teams scoring points here. Like Ryan mentioned on the chat, Pumas they've made a few changes. They've lost their captain and their vice captain. But I still, I just still think the handicap is just too big for the two teams that's the winners in the tournament. So a small play for me on the plus here, and I'll probably focus on points, and this might be a game to focus on in running as well.
Right, I'll chat about the points now in a sec. Just to mention a couple of the guys in the live chat, Helgat and Hein, they're busy discussing first try scorers. So a reminder that there are so many different markets you can bet on, and while that for some got me thinking of the betting stig, who I know Gavin will be referring to his videos. Now, if you go down below this video that we on YouTube and Facebook, if you're watching on there, you can subscribe to our weekly betting mailer. You can also subscribe to the channel, the forum, where you can go check out the rugby thread. But I've also put a link there to Oracle's YouTube channel and the Betting Stigs blog on Good for the Game. So you can go and have a look at all of the Stig lines as well. But interesting game. And I actually think, Henrik, the points might be quoted a bit higher, unfortunately. I'm also hoping for about 60. And I've got a feeling the bookies are going to quote this one at about 64.5. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think this one has got points written all over it. That Saturday at 4:30, Henrik, will stay with you for the Stormers up against the Lions. Here the handicap has shifted out in the Stormers' favour from what I can see. It's minus 10.5 now. While you're talking, I'm quickly going to go and look what I capped this game at. I can't quite remember, but I think it was in that. In fact, I think it was exactly 10.5.
Brent, I think the early betting came out. I think WSB were first up and at 7.5. And I'm not going to mention names, but somebody on a chat, he jumped on the 7.5, or he mentioned 7.5. And I see there's as big as 12.5 on the Lions, and there's a few guys on there. Gavin should know about the 12.5 because it was at Hollywood. And I know a few of the guys posted on the forum as well about the 12.5. I'm firmly in the Stormers camp here. Like I said, I'm not that strong in the first two games. I'm very strong. I expect the Stormers to beat the Lions away here. This is a brilliant Stormers back, and that scrum, every scrum should be a Stormers penalty, and your scrum is the main weapon in rugby. I know line-out ball is the best attacking ball, but you get the line-out after the scrum after you won the penalty. So I'm very strong on the Stormers here, and I expect the Stormers to win this by 20+. The Lions, they ran the Sharks close, but the Sharks were poor, and the conditions in Durban were so tough, handling wise. I didn't see many positive lines there. So I expect the Stormers to win this one easily, and I'm not sure what points line is going to be at Newlands. The conditions will be perfect, 7 o'clock. So I'll be looking at some unders on the Stormers point, on the Lions points, but it will probably be 17, 18 at the most. No, probably not even that high. 17 if I'm lucky at Newlands.
What do you see in the total points line is about 46.5 then?
45-ish. So probably be lucky to get 17 on the Lions. I'll still take unders on that. Anything two converted tries and one penalty, I'll be happy to take unders on the Lions. My main bet here will be on the minus. I think you should still get minus 9.5 on the Stormers. I'll take the minus 10.5 as well. I'm very confident beating this handicap.
All right. Well, Couch Critic coming in and saying he smells a bongy try. This man, of course, loves these hookers. And we'll go on to Gavin. Now, Gavin, let me get my pick in before you come in here. I'm with Henrik on this one. I do like the Stormers. I do worry a little bit about the Stormers bench. So for me, a bet I fancy here is the halftime handicap on the Stormers. I fancy them. I should imagine that sitting at around about minus 5.5. So I do like the Stormers for a fast start. Although, I tend to be more of an 80-minute handicap player than a halftime cap player. Well, what do you make of this one? Do you reckon last week you went against your Lions and they delivered on the handicap? You going back to them now, or you think they're going to in for a hammering at Newlands? Well, in Cape Town. I don't think they played at Newlands, eh?
No, I think Newlands, that game they played the other day, the green and gold game. I think that was the last game at Newlands.
That was the end, eh?
Okay, so I just wanted to make a comment first of all about the last game, the fact that the Pumas had lost their captain and their vice captain, and I don't really know these players, but what I do know is I use the cricket example is Kepler Wessels was probably the best example of this, but I was the kind of guy that if I was on a team and I needed them to win, and you got a very slow batsman or a guy who wasn't pushing the rate on, I would rather he went out and somebody came in and replaced him and pushed the game on. So I don't know who they've replaced these two guys at the Pumas, but I got to say that after last week's match, a couple of heads needed to roll anyway. So I'm quite excited that there's a new captain at the helm, whoever he might be, and it's just given me a little bit more confidence actually on that Pumas game. Anyway, back to the Lions. So my kid and a couple of other people said to me the Lions were stupid to take that penalty, the scrum at the end of the game. They could have drawn the match. I know that Giant Cheese had hit the pole with a kick a little bit early on. I think the Lions did the right thing. They were winning their scrums. It was the right decision to go into the corner. They in my opinion, had a 75% chance of winning that scrum and or possibly even 80% of winning that scrum and then probably about a 60% chance of scoring from it. They didn't, obviously. They lost the game, but I think they made the right decision. And I looked at that Lions team, and I was quite impressed with their almost David versus Goliath kind of attitude. Like, I don't think they expected to lose the game, but they probably looked at it as saying, we're a young team, we'll have a go, and if we get close, we'll give it a go and we'll try. And the Sharks I don't know if the Sharks were that poor. I a lot of me is telling me this was a decent Lions performance. I know the Stormers are the best team at the moment, and I know their scrum is fantastic. But I got to say, about a double-digit start, I am interested in the Lions. As Henrik said, there is 12.5 available, 11.5, and I'm going to suggest that even at 10.5, there's a little bit of value for the Lions. So Henrik, I'm happy to have a little punt with you at 10.5 if you're interested. I don't think that any team is trying to put anybody away in this competition. I think they're just trying to win it, and I do think that there's a decent chance of the Lions beating this handicap. And I won't be surprised if they even fluke a win, because they've got nothing to lose. It's a David versus Goliath kind of situation, but it's not a 20-point handicap for me. It's well set at 10, and at 12, I'm definitely a Lions punter, and at 7 or 8, I'm on the fence, and I'm probably a Stormers punter at 4 or 5. That's it. But I don't have any massive plays this week. But yeah, I'm happy to have a go on the Lions plus at 10.5 if you want.
Yeah, I'm sure Henrik will come in with you. We'll confirm that bet now. I want to move on to the Bledisloe Cup, and we're going to run the competition that we ran last week for the 500 Rand voucher at Stoker's Arms. Now, we gave one away last week, but the other one, because the game was a draw, we never actually had any winners. So thanks to Ari for sponsoring this. And just a reminder, if you're not in the Hillcrest area or the Kloof area, it doesn't matter. You can win this voucher. It's transferable. You can nominate a mate. Look, there's one in your screen there at the moment, or Gavin. He'll be happy to take up on the voucher. So there's the competition. We want to know who's going to win the Bledisloe Cup game, by how many points, and total points. So total points will be the decider. First, you've got to get the winner. Then the margin will determine, and finally the total points. And that's for 500 Rand voucher. So have a go if you're watching now in the live chat on that, and we will, we'll get cracking with the Bledisloe Cup. Henrik, I'm going to start with you on the Bledisloe. But before we do that, how much you want to have with Gavin there? Even 500 with Gavin on the 10.5?
Yes, Brent, I'm happy. I actually forgot we had a bet last week. And I forgot,
you're up 500 already, correct?
So the winnings I took off Gavin last week, I'm happy to wager that on the Stormers game plus 10.5. The Wallabies, they were quite impressive. Well, actually, no, they weren't that impressive. I was actually a bit disappointed by the Wallabies. They played poorly, in my opinion. But the All Blacks they were more shocking. And I'm expecting more of the same. And like you've said for a while now, there will be a decline in the All Blacks. It started last year with the under 20s as well, trying to show that the All Blacks. I'm expecting the Wallabies to push the All Blacks close again, even with it being in Auckland. And all the history tells you after the Wallabies have run the All Blacks close, next game, big win for the All Blacks. They beat them by 20 plus. I expect that to change, and I expect the Wallabies to run them close again. So I'm happy to take the plus again here, even with it being in Auckland. There's the Wallabies team that will be picked has been leaked. They've made a few changes. Harry Wilson will put 8. Ned Hannigan comes in at 6. Brent Graham, Mosa comes in at 3rd. Dave Rennie is a good coach, and the Wallabies will be even better after last week, and I expect the All Blacks to just get this from here. I'm happy to be in the Wallabies. I expect them. I think the All Blacks might run out the win here, and I think the All Blacks by 1-12 might be a value. Plus is confident on my side.
Right, well, I see a couple of the guys giving their point selections in, and just looking, most of them out there. Stephen was New Zealand by 22, so New Zealand by 12 from people, a couple of New Zealand by 24. So it's very much a split opinion here. I'm a little bit torn on this one, Gavin, because I was leaning towards the All Blacks. Geez, I had a look at that Eden Park record. It's phenomenal. I think Australia have only scored more than 13 points, something like once in their last 7 visits there. But I also take Henrik's point. There's something about this New Zealand side. Henrik and I are in total alignment on the coaching staff. We think they've made the wrong call there. We think they probably, although we can't fault his display on the field, there's just something about Sam Cane that doesn't necessarily convince me as a captain. But we've got Pretty similar handicap to the one we had last week. 3 points lower, 14.5. You can get New Zealand. I think you can get probably 15.5. Australia on the plus. Oracle Rugby, where are you heading?
I agree with you guys, and I think that I don't know what happened to New Zealand. Like I said, for me, Australia did play well. I thought they played very well. Well, they played well in my expectation of what I expected them to play. So they got an A. I expected them to get a D or an E. They gave me an A performance. New Zealand were okay. They were average. I just thought, Australia defended very well. And that first 20 minutes, they just came at them. And then when you saw the New Zealand Ikes get the ball out of that back of that line out and it juggled around and off they ran to the other side of the field, and then the Ike didn't dot it down, I just thought that's it. The floodgates are going to open. They'll win by 30, and it never happened. And I'm going to go with Australia, but I'm not going to bother with a handicap here. I'm going to take them to win the game on the board. I think they sniffed victory. They are definitely the more pumped up team. This is a ridiculous decision for me to back Australia to win a game in New Zealand. I don't think they've won a game since my kids been at school, never mind high school, in New Zealand. So, I don't know. I'm just going to have a small little punt on the outright. I haven't even looked at the price, but I'm guessing at 15.5, I'll probably be able to get something like 5 or 6 to 1. If I look around, I don't know. But small little punt for me at that, and I'll stick a little bit on the draw at you probably get 40 to 1 on 15.5 draws, because it did arrive last week. I'm not going to be too involved in this game. It is my smallest bet of the weekend, but I'm going to back Australia to win the game and have a small strike at the draw, just so that I don't lose if they do draw.
Right, interesting one. I must say, I'm very torn on this game. I was very much in the New Zealand minus handicap at the start. Interestingly enough, I did handicap this game on Sunday as well, and I'm just going to look. I think actually all of my handicaps have ended up really within a couple of points, except for the Cheetahs Bulls, where I went Cheetahs minus 5.5. But I said New Zealand minus 14.5 for this one. So it is very close to where I thought it would be. No obvious value there for me, but I do have a feeling we're going to see some sort of bounce back from New Zealand. But I'm going to have to give this game a little bit more thought. Anything else, Henrik, from a total points point of view here? I believe the conditions are going to be good at Eden Park. I see 6 o'clock in the morning South African time, which means it's sort of evening New Zealand time. Can we expect a high-scoring game here, or do you think this is going to be another trench warfare effort where we've got 30 to 40 points?
Brent, I didn't check the weather. I checked it yesterday, and a slight chance of bit of rain, but it's not big chance. Auckland is normally high scoring, so I expect points in this one. I saw somebody earlier overs on the chat. I can't remember who said it. Dino Zambetti. He's been in NRL. What I've seen, but I expect there to be a bit of points more than last week. Wellington, difficult. It's always difficult to win. It falls in that stadium. It's a 15-point handicap. What do we have on Australia? What do you think total points will be, and then what we'll have Australia points? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think they're going to quote points at around about 45.5. Henrik, 45.5, somewhere around there, what would that leave us if we've got a 14-point difference? You probably get New Zealand around about 30 and Australia about 15
30,
points,
50,
somewhere there.
30, 15, 30, 16,
somewhere around there. I think that's where I think it will come in. Also, no real firm view here. I'm going to probably formulate my opinion on this coming close to the time. I'm more confident on the South African games than I am on these games. Just interesting, Johan coming in. I think he's the first one to go Australia to win the game. So even if Australia win by 50, Johan will be winning that 500 rand voucher.
So I got a question there. I got a question there, Brent. So Johan's gone 1, right? What happens if he's the closest and New Zealand win by 4? Does he still win the prize?
Yeah, he wins. So first up, we look at the results. Yeah, first up we look at the results. And that's why we didn't get a
asking.
winner last week because no one picked the draw. Yeah.
Okay, so you're pulling a Super Brew move, are you? I would have given it to
Yeah, that's it. Well,
I would have done it differently. But I got to tell you guys, for those of you who do, Brent was suggesting you can transfer this prize. What I got to tell you is, I know a lot of people come down to Durban for business, and the odd weekend or even might come close. You want to hold on to that voucher, and you do want to come to Stokers. You don't want to miss out. It's one of the best pubs around. And before you give it over to somebody you think you know in Durban, a long lost relative or some dodgy friend of yours, hold on to it because you never know, you might be down here and you want to have a go. It's a great prize to win, great pub to go to. I just wanted to say there was something else I was going to mention about this game.
You're not going to be watching this game with the conductor, are you? Because I believe you're watching some rugby with him.
Yeah, Saturday
afternoon. 6 in the morning. You're not spending the night
Yeah.
together, you and the conductor.
No, is this Saturday morning or is it Sunday morning?
I think it's Sunday morning, this game.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll wake up and watch it. No,
But
Saturday,
you've seen
I'm
the
with,
conductor. You've seen the conductor, eh?
I will see him on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. We're going to watch the two games together on Saturday, and that'll be quite exciting. So, yeah, I'll send some photos to you. Looking forward to it. I believe he's bringing a few of his girlfriends with him. He did suggest there was one, but you never know. There could be more.
Excellent. Well, look forward to hearing about that. We're going to move on now with the Mitre 10 Cup, guys. And I know, Gavin, I don't know if you've got anything here, but you stay on the line. We'll do the best bets. But I'll run through with Hendrik. Unfortunately, bad timing. Some people saying Hendrik sounds giving a bit of problem. So let's have a look. I also battled a bit, but my Wi-Fi is so bad, I always just assume it's my sound. But Hendrik,
I thought it was just selective hearing, that I was just hearing what I wanted to hear.
Hendrik, let's run through the fixtures and we'll see. If your sound's really bad, we'll do it extra quick. And we've got Hawke's Bay up against Northland first up. Northland, not in my good books after last week. And here we got Hawke's Bay minus 13.5 against Northland.
Brent, I'm sorry, I see some guys saying my sound is not that good. I'm a bit better now. I'll try and speak a bit more clearly. English is not my first language, so I struggle a bit with English sometimes. I probably don't express myself that good. Yeah, Hawke's Bay, this is a rightfully Shield game. Last week, Hawke's Bay rested the good guys, and they were targeting this game to keep the Shield because they've got the Shield. Northland has been really impressive, and for a Shield game, this handicap feels a bit high. Even though Hawke's Bay is targeting this game, I think the plus is about 4 or 5 points higher than I thought it would be. So tentative call on Northland plus here, even though they dropped us last week. I think it was more Southland than last week. That Northland that was not that good. So plus here for me. And then Manawatu, the Turbos against Bay of Plenty. Manawatu, they were really poor last week again. The first half, they dominated the possession and they just couldn't score. They acted very poor. They had all the ball and they just couldn't score. I think, and they have been poor the whole season. So I think that 11.5, I think 11.5 here.
It is 11.5 on Sunday, yeah. I'm just checking with the guys if the sound's any better. I think Hendrik will probably have to skip over these because I am battling to hear you and I see Gavin shaking his head as well. Believe me, it's got nothing to do with your English. Your English is just fine. This is purely something that's happened. For some reason, your sound has just gone. It's probably just a connection issue or something like that. But what I'm going to do is, sorry.
Can I try and log out and log in again?
Yeah, log out and log in again. And we'll try to do that. In the meantime, I just want to bring up, it's going to be a gruesome sight, and that is a WhatsApp that Dave sent me. And Dave said, have a good show, Brent. Bristol and Exeter double for me this weekend, and the minus in both games, no other action my side. So he's focusing, of course, on the European games, and he likes the two minuses there. Now, when you're betting on European rugby, it's a little bit like the cycling at the moment. You've got to take all sorts of things, including COVID, into account, which is crazy stuff. But I just want to go up there and have a look at the betting on the Challenge Cup. We've got the Bristol Bears against Toulon, and then we got the Bristol minus 2.5. So Dave fancies the minus 2.5 Bristol. And if we look at the Champions Cup, and that's taking place on Saturday, Exeter Chiefs, they're -3.5 against Racing 92. Now, I know Racing did have quite a few COVID-19 cases, so we'll have to study up on those. But Dave likes the double there, the -2.5 onto the -3.5, and that's what he fancies on that one. Let's. I don't think there's much more in terms of rugby that we're going to chat about. We'll wait for Hendrik to get back and see what his sound is like. And in fact, he is back now. So I'm going to bring him straight into the stream. Hendrik, let's see how that sounds.
Brent, I'm on another device now. Can you hear me better?
I can hear you perfectly now.
Better.
Yeah, no, that is a lot better. I just want to make us a bit bigger so people can.
There's nothing wrong with your English, but your English is fantastic. Don't worry about that, really.
I'm off the passport.
No, I know that, but there's nothing wrong with your English. English is perfect.
That's for sure.
I know people that they don't even reach 50% of that level, and I can still understand them.
Appreciate it, Gavin. Yeah. So I was on the Manawatu Bay of Plenty game previously. I think Bay of Plenty, the Steelers, they can put Manawatu away here. I'm pretty confident on that one. And then Wellington against North Harbour. North Harbour, they've been pretty impressive. Last week they played against Hawke's Bay, bit of an Hawke's Bay team that rested a few, and I really put them away. I think this handicap is a bit big, even with Wellington playing at home. So I'm on a plus here again. Not that confident, but I like the plus. And then Auckland against Tasman, probably the pick of the Mitre 10 Cup games for the weekend. In Auckland, so I'm going for them. They're underdogs here, 3.5 points. Yeah, Tasman 2 weeks ago, they got 2 weeks ago? Yeah, they got a shock loss against North Harbour. I expect Tasman to win this one easily. Auckland, they scraped last week, and like I said before last week, in last week's show, Auckland, they've been on a bit of a decline, in my opinion. So, I like Tasman to win this one and win this easily. So, this is one of my stronger fancies. And then Southland against Taranaki. Southland, they've been the bookies' friends. Everybody's taking on Southland. They just keep delivering on the handicap. The first 3 games, they had the weather in their favour. Last week in good weather, Northland struggled, and our best bet lost there on the newsletter. I'm going to take Southland on here again. It's probably logic, defies logic here, but I'm going to. The handicap just seems so low, and Taranaki, they played really well last week, so Taranaki on the minus here. Canterbury with a team that I think is overrated by the bookmakers. It's Waikato, and Waikato has been really impressive. I actually can see Waikato winning this game, so the plus is a confident call for me. And then Otago against Counties, and Counties been really poor. Josh Ioane, he was called up as cover for the All Blacks early in the week. He's been released to Otago, so he'll probably play this game. So there's again in Dunedin, very I think Otago will beat the handicap here and put Counties away because Counties been poor. So I should just wrap up. My strongest fancy is Tasman on the minus to put Auckland away easily. Second strongest Otago on the minus 10.5, and then Waikato on the plus 9. Would not be surprised if Waikato beat Canterbury in Christchurch.
But Hendrik, while we got you on the line there, I know you said you've been doing quite a lot of research on the top 14, and we did have a request on Twitter for the top 14 outright. So I'm going to race through a few of them in the betting. It's Toulouse 7-2, Racing 9-2, Clermont 6-1, Toulon 6-1, and I want you to give me a pick here, please, because I know you've done your homework. Bordeaux 6-1, Rochelle 8-1, and Lyon 10-1. Anything that jumps out for you there?
Gavin, did you see the bus running over me now?
No, but I'm going to tell you, Toulon sounds like value because that's the team Bucky's used to play for.
Yeah, Brent, you've really thrown me under the bus now, and that's probably a bit of revenge on me calling out on Twitter. But I like the way Toulouse plays, so I'm going to go for Toulouse.
Excellent. Guys, we'll move into our best bets now and wrap up the show. Oracle Rugby, let me start with you. Your best bet of the weekend.
Sorry, I actually just want to ask a question. I know there's been a little bit of news and I haven't read all about it, and I'm pretty sure you two know the answer here. So this rugby championship, South Africa is not going. I believe Argentina are already in Australia. So are they playing 2 games each? Does it still start on the 7th of November? Is there any talk of South Africa playing anything with these guys, or is it completely off the neck? Our next test match is against the British and Irish Lions. Is that what it is?
Yes.
I'll leave that one to Henrik.
Yes. Yeah, so the box definitely, well, it will be announced tomorrow. Box definitely not playing in the Rugby Championship. The next test match against the Lions, which is a bit scary for the box. Argentina is over there. And yeah, it was supposed to be a 12 matches. Now it's down to 6 with 3 teams. So it's,
are they spreading the games around Australia, or are they all playing in one sort of bubble or whatever they call it in one place?
I'm not sure about that. All in Australia, obviously, but I'm not sure where it's getting played in Australia.
Okay, I think South Africa missed a trick by going there, because after last week, what I thought was a poor Australian team played very well. The New Zealanders weren't up to scratch. I don't think South Africa should have worried about going over there. Probably would have beaten both of them, especially in Australia. I don't know. I think South Africa should have gone, but that's obviously decisions made higher up. Brent, I got to tell you, I have to dig deep for my best bet here, because I'm on the fence with all of these games. I mean, as you heard earlier, I'm having a speculative play on Australia to win the game. I've taken a bit of Lions plus, a bit of Cheetahs to win, and the Pumas plus. I got to tell you, I'm not strong on any of them. So for me, it's a small unit. A multiple on all 4, well, the 3 pluses plus Cheetahs. That's my bet for the weekend. I would keep it small and try and get a bit of interest in everything. I'm honestly not spending a lot of money this weekend. I'm not strong on any of them. I thought that the Cheetahs I wasn't strong on. I'm starting to feel like that's possibly my strongest one. Then I'm looking at the Pumas. I don't have a best bet. I just don't. I like all of them, but I like all of them small. No, nothing firm.
Nothing firm from Oracle there. Just one of my mates from America joining in the chat there, Kevin Spector, pointing out my hairstyle. Kev, I'm pleased you like it. I must tell you that I'm getting hit on by younger women. Trish can't handle it. She says that people think I look like him. I'm in my early 30s with this hair. So anyway, that's some good to have come out of lockdown. If you believe that, you're crazy. Henrik, what is your best bet, sir?
Yeah, Brent, like I said earlier, my confidence is a bit down. So I actually will have to think about this as well. I'm going for the Stormers. I just think they will put the Lions team away. The pack looks very impressive, and the backline's not that bad either. So I had a look at the Mitre 10 Cup now, and I thought maybe I should go for Tasman. So that's my strongest fancy on the Mitre 10 Cup, but I'm going to stick with the Stormers to put the Lions away on the -9.5, -10.5.
Right, I guess I better come up with a best bet as well. Like you, I do like the Stormers, as you know. I also like the Stormers halftime handicap. The thing that stops me piling into the Stormers halftime handicap is I'm just not much of a halftime handicap player. I just don't have a good record on halftime handicaps. And guess who was on the New Zealand halftime handicap last week when that try was dropped by Rico only over the line? I mean, I was celebrating the fact that the halftime handicap arrived, and then the next thing you knew, it was taken from me. And there's just something about the halftime handicap that I don't enjoy. So I'll probably go Stormers outright. But I think my best bet is going to be this man Bushy getting access into the Griquas Stadium despite COVID. And I'm going for Griquas. I'm going to go for them in my handicap, but I'm probably going to look for a Griquas overs points play. I'm hoping the total points quote comes somewhere around Hendricks 60.5, and I'll be looking for a nice overs points play on Bushy's team, the Griquas. So the Griquas for me, but I've got a bit of deliberation to do. We discussed a lot of bets tonight, guys. I'm going to be coming out with a newsletter in the morning. We've got to right the ship. Last week was a bit disappointing in not hitting 5 in a row, but that of course did mean we hit the previous 4, which is a good thing. If you are new to the show, do go down below and hit the subscribe to our newsletter, and also check out our rugby forum thread. Gents, thanks very much. Oracle, have a great weekend. Go rest up. I know you had a big day of tennis and a couple of drinks afterwards, and we'll please do send some pics of your time with the conductor. I hope you send us some pics. We'll bring them on the show next week.
Oh well, thanks very much. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Excellent, Henrik. Thanks very much. The sound was much better second time around as well. But look forward to you bouncing back into form. And next time we chat to you on the show, I can tell you're going to be full of confidence. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Brent. I'm sorry about the sound problems. Glad it's better now. And otherwise, and Gavin hit the conductor hard. You must enjoy it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Few cold ones. Good luck to all the punters. Enjoy the weekend's rugby.
I just want to say one more
quick
thing. Sorry, Brent. So I learned a lesson. As you know, I've got a lot of punting rules, and I'm sure you guys have as well. But I made another one last week, and I'm going to really stick to this. Last week I went for 4 minuses, and I was talking to Sean Nicholas Ruggabugger before the weekend, and we both chuckled to each other saying, we wonder which one's not going to win. We were so confident that all 4 of them were going to win, and there was always going to be one that, and we couldn't figure out which one it was. And as it happens, all 4 of them nearly lost. Obviously, 3 of them did. And I know that subconsciously, pluses, tend to arrive a little bit more than minuses over the year or over the season or whatever it is. And I've now decided that I've got an absolute maximum of 1 unit on any minus. For me, if I like a minus, I don't care how much I like it. I've got a maximum of 1 unit, and I've got and I've now taken away the maximum on the plus. I don't have a maximum anymore on plus. I go super max, no problem. But geez, I learned a lesson last week.
Excellent. Do you want to say something on that?
That's the same with the points, So always, if you go overs, go smaller, bigger on the under. Normally, it's the same with the plus because punters always expect positive rugby, and it's not always that way.
I can tell you guys it relates to cycling betting as well. But anyways, thanks, guys. Thanks for both of you for coming on the show. And also, as I say, thanks to all the guys who joined us in the live chat. Always make the show with some great tips and some witty comments as well. Good to see old couch critic in the live audience. I know he started his own Afrikaans show, the Los Gamal, there with the yellow cap. So if you are Afrikaans, go and watch that one, because there's no point someone like me sitting through it. Although I do understand Afrikaans, I'm sure the boys will be talking too quickly for me.
What did you say his name was? Los Gamal?
That's the name of the show, the Los Gamal.
Okay.
Excellent, guys. Thanks very much. Till next week, we'll see you on the forum and we'll see you on Twitter. Thanks a lot.